Hello and welcome. This is the Young Adult Committee meeting on a retreat. I, Marguerite, am here with Chuma, Minnie, and Jan. You guys want to say hi? Hi.
Hi. Hello.
Anyway, so we wanted to say welcome, and we've been talking about who Yam is, what does that mean, and what do we want for the future of this group?
Yeah, great. So we have been talking, maybe Chuma, you can share a little bit. What do you feel about Yam since you joined Yam last September?
Yeah, absolutely. I think first of all that as the name implies, the Young Adult Committee or the Young Adults Meeting Ministry, it's quite interesting because the aim is for young adults to come together to really get to know the Lord that they worship and really grow in the Lord. And generally, I think since starting in September, I think I've seen a lot of very interesting progress with the YAM. I see young adults from all over the world coming to Wageningen and not just being a part of ICF as a church, but also being a part of a young adults ministry that is very vibrant and sharing amongst themselves, talking about the Lord, the gospel, sharing from their own perspective. And it's very interesting because then we have a more global view on people's experiences and the gospel around the world. And so it's really a remarkable experience to see in ICF.
Mm-hmm. What do you think that has helped Yam to achieve this?
Wow, that's a very lovely question. But I think at the end of the day, it goes back to God Almighty, because I remember when we set out our plans on what we hope to achieve with the YAM, the first meeting we had, we talked about a few things that we wanted to achieve, and at the end of the day, all we talked about was centered around the Lord and relying on Him as the person who was going to help us achieve these plans we talked about. We talked about how we were going to grow with the young adults and just making sure that the YAM was more tailored towards the gospel. You see, talking more about the gospel and really making sure that people were growing and sharing from their own perspective. But at the end of the day, we see all the activities we have had so far have happened so smoothly, and it's been by God's grace, because it's also very interesting to know that we, the YAM committee, we also take time to pray about the YAM from time to time, and we can see God's hand really moving in the YAM, and that's very humbling to experience.
Yeah, you remember like this year when we were talking about what other event series we're going to implement in YAM, and then Roland preached about on love your God and your neighbor, and he gave that really perfect examples of 9 aspects that you can do, and that really just in the very right time give us the inspirations to transform them into the Friday events, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And what strategy has Yam been using in doing that?
Yeah, thank you for that question. I think first of all, some of the things we have actually done as a YAM committee was to see how we can make the YAM sessions to be more interactive. And so it's not just one person talking to the young adults. It's more about the young adults really sharing from their own perspective and really just asking questions and, bringing out those issues and those questions around the same topic of discussion, really, that really ministers to them, that they want clarity on. And so that's part of the strategy we've had, to have an open floor plan where we talk about the topic at hand at that point in time. Yeah, apart from that, we have also tried to work very closely with the members of the YAM. And so not that we have a system where you have the YAM committee somewhere and the members of the YAM somewhere else. We try to work with the different members of the YAM, especially people who you get to see even more regularly contributing in one way or the other, and people who have ideas. We try to ask, what are the ideas people have? We chat people up and we ask, what ideas do you have for the YAM? Do you think we can do this better? And by connecting all of this, we get to engage the members of the YAM even more, and not just having the leaders one side and the members one side, but a thorough engagement of the members. And that's really how we've been able to get to where we are right now in terms of strategy.
Yeah, so that's for where we get us right now. But as Yam, we always wanted to grow one step further, right? So where do we want to see Yam move towards in the future to help build like a very stable structures for growth? Because a lot of people are here for a very short time. Like, how do you see that they grow in Yam in such a short time?
Yeah, thank you for that question also, Minnie. First of all, we started last year, September, with the AID program. And the AID really is that platform where we received a new set of people that are coming to Wageningen to study and things like that. And we received them into ICF as a church, and we show them that there is the YAM, the young adult ministry, that they can also be part of. So it's like that market for us to just expose ourselves to them and bring them in as a people. And that has been very interesting because knowing the path we are going as the young adult ministry, we hope to really raise a generation of young adults that are committed to the gospel, that know what the gospel is about, and they are also willing to serve for the purpose of the gospel. So not just that you're just a hearer of the gospel and being fed with the gospel, but you're also playing a role somewhere, whether it's in the little thing you do in arranging the place that people come together to sit, or just trying to bring people together, whatever way you can contribute, but just raising a generation of people who are more involved in the gospel and not just docile and just receiving, but also contributing. And that has been our aim, really. And so going forward, really, especially seeing that very soon we're going to be receiving a new set of young adults coming to Wageningen again, it's going to be very interesting how we can go about the AID this year, learning from what we did last year, and seeing how we can interact individually as members of the YAM, individually with new people that are coming, and see how we can bring in these new people to be part of the YAM, and especially knowing that we have a good strategy going forward and how we can learn from ourselves in the process. I think that's the direction we hope to go in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, also not just the AID, if you have some new people are coming to your corridor or some people you met, your new classmates, you're always, there's no harm in asking them, hey, like, do you want to go with me to this event of YAM, or do you want to come with me on Sunday? I think those are always, great ways to invite new people to YAM.
So Minnie, you as the student deacon are definitely involved with a lot of young adults and helping to lead them. And so as we're looking to the future to invite, YAM members into helping us as taking care of other YAMs and young adults and people in the church, what have you learned about serving and why do you serve?
Well, yeah, so I think a lot of people realize I take a lot of tasks in the ICF, and sometimes people ask me like whether it's tiring or not. I mean, like if you just look at a task, that's a lot. But what I've realized is that the more tasks I take in ICF, the more I see how God is moving in every single thing. Usually the most difficult, the first step for serving is to start, which gonna take a lot of courage because it's scary that you're doing something that you've never done before. But once you start serving, you see little by little how God is working around you and the people around you, and the little, he just really feels you, I think. And naturally, you just wanted to know more, so you serve more.
Right, and people bear his image.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So it's a privilege to be a part of his body, and the people are what make his body so powerful. And specifically at a church like ICF, which is international, and with students and young adults who are coming from all over the world, we get to see his image in very distinct ways, and we have the privilege of leading and serving his treasured possessions. And we feel very fortunate as YAM committee.
Yeah, we're very grateful.